Hello, hi, namaskara. My name is Kirtan and I'm a second year medical student studying in a government medical college. Welcome to my channel Physiology at Once. Today I'll be talking about the topic gastrointestinal hormones and some of the main important hormones that are gastrin, secretin and cholecystokinin. So before starting this video, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because it's free and also you can support my mission of making physiology easy, simple and understandable. So let's start. So, what are these gastrointestinal hormones? These are the hormones released by various gastrointestinal organs that may be stomach, intestine, etc., which helps in the process of digestion and motility of the gastrointestinal tract. So, there are three families of GI hormones. These are the three main families: gastrin family, secretin family, and other hormones. Under the gastrin family, the main hormones are gastrin and cholecystokinin, and under the secretin family, the main hormones are GIP, glucagon, secretin, VIP. And other hormones, they contain various hormones like neurotransmitter, etc. So in this video, we will be talking about three most asked hormones in the board examination, that are gastrin, cholecystokinin and secretin. We will talk about its source, its functions, its mechanism of action, how it takes place, and what are the regulation of its secretion. So let's start to discuss about these hormones one by one. The first one is gastrin. Gastrin is an important hormone which is released by the G cells in the stomach. These are also produced in the cells of hypothalamus, anterior pituitary medulla and fetal pancreas in a little smaller quantity than the G cells. It is also produced from the vagus and sciatic nerve. So this is the source. Now let's talk about its main functions. It mainly stimulates the gastric acid and pepsin secretion from the stomach. It also stimulates the growth of gastric mucosa. It stimulates the gastric motility. It causes the contraction of lower esophageal sphincter, due to which the reflex esophagus does not happen. The reflex esophageal movement is nothing but the vomiting. It also stimulates the exocrine pancreas secretion and also the insulin secretion. The exocrine pancreas secretion is nothing but the enzyme and bicarbonate secretion from the pancreas. It stimulates the mass movement of the large intestine and the colon also. Therefore, whenever we intake the food, there will be the urge of going to the excretion process because there will be mass movement of the large intestine and colon due to the gastrin production. The gastrin is produced immediately after when we take the food. We will talk about its regulation now. It stimulates the histamine secretion also. Histamine is a vasodilator. So let's talk about the mechanism of action, how it acts. First, the gastrin comes and it attaches to the gastrin receptors. These gastrin receptors then increases the intracellular calcium level, which again activates the protein kinase. This activated protein kinase stimulates the H plus K plus ATPase present in the stomach cells, which again increase or stimulate the gastric acid and pepsin secretion. So whenever there is increased secretion of the gastrin, there will be increased gastric acid and pepsin secretion. We'll talk about it now. So now let's talk about the regulation of secretion of the gastrin hormone. The food in the stomach, the product of protein digestion, that is peptides and amino acid, and the vagal stimulation or non-cholinergic activates the G cells of the stomach. So these are the positive regulations for the gastrin secretion. So the food in the stomach, due to which the gastric distension happens. Gastric distension is nothing but the expansion of the walls of the stomach. The products of the protein digestion, which are the peptides and the amino acids, and the vagal stimulation. I had talked in the previous video that the vagus nerve is an excitatory nerve to the digestive system. So it is excitatory. So therefore, it promotes the action of the gastrin cells. So these three factors acts on the G cells of the stomach, and there is secretion of the gastrin hormone. This gastrin hormone goes to the parietal cells of stomach, and there is HCl secretion. So this HCl secretion further makes the acidic duodenal chyme, and there is high acidic gastric content. So this high acidic gastric content auto-regulates the gastric secretion by inhibiting G cells of the stomach directly. This acidic duodenal chyme again promotes the intestinal hormones, that is GIP, VIP, somatostatin, secretin and glucagon, which again inhibits the parietal cells of stomach and also the G cells of the stomach. So therefore this is the regulation of secretion, the process. Now let's talk about the clinical significance of this hormone. So the one of the main clinical significance is the gastrinoma. This is a neuroendocrine tumor of the pancreas that produces the gastrin. So usually there is no production of gastrin secretion from the pancreas, but due to the tumor there is increased secretion of the gastrin from the pancreas, that is beta cells of the pancreas. This causes severe and chronic hypergastrinemia because of the excess secretion of the HCl. So this is also called as the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, which I will be talking about it also in the later videos. Its characteristics are abdominal pain, diarrhea and gastroesophageal reflux. So abdominal pain, diarrhea and gastroesophageal reflux are the main characteristics of the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Now let's talk about the second main important asked question in the examination. The hormone is cholecystokinin. The source is the eye cells in the mucosa of the upper small intestine. It also has many functions like the contraction of the gallbladder. Due to the contraction of the gallbladder, since you know that the gallbladder contains bile, so there will be production of the bile contents from the gallbladder. It also stimulates the pancreatic secretion. Therefore, it is also known as cholecystokinin pancreozymin. This pancreatic secretion mainly contains the enzymic contents. It also stimulates the action of the secretin hormone. It inhibits the gastric acid secretion, so it is opposing the function of the gastrin hormone. It inhibits the gastric motility also due to the opposing function of the gastrin hormone. It relaxes the sphincter of the OD. This sphincter of the OD is present in the pancreatic ducts. So therefore there will be easy release of the pancreatic juice and the bile juice. And there is also stimulation of the growth of pancreas. The pancreas is stimulated for growth. It also stimulates the intestinal and colonic movements as seen in the gastrin hormone also. It stimulates the contraction of pyloric sphincter. This pyloric sphincter is present in the end of the stomach, that is the pylorus part of the stomach. It acts as an anorexigenic neurotransmitter. Anorexigenic means nothing but it inhibits the appetite. So it tells the brain to stop eating. It produces analgesia and anxiety also. So now let's talk about its mechanism of action. So when the cholecystokinin attaches to the cholecystokinin receptors, there are two types of cholecystokinin receptors. They are cholecystokinin A receptor and cholecystokinin B receptor. These cholecystokinin A receptor are present in the peripheral structures such as gallbladder, pancreas, small intestine, etc. These cholecystokinin B receptor are present in central structures, that is brain. So these receptors again activates the membrane phospholipase. This membrane phospholipase stimulates the intracellular IP3, that is inositol triphosphate, and the DAG, that is diacylglycerol. So this is the mechanism of the cellular signaling, which I will be talking about in the next unit, that is the endocrine system. So this is the mechanism of the action. Now let's talk about the regulation of secretion of the cholecystokinin hormone. So when there is contact of intestinal mucosa with fatty acids and peptides, there is stimulation of the eye cells, which is located in the upper intestine. Then there is secretion of the cholecystokinin enzyme. hormone, and then there is increased release of bile and pancreatic secretion from the gallbladder and the pancreas respectively. Then there is digestion of this protein and fat, which leads to fatty acid and peptides, which is the simpler form of this protein and fat. So these fatty acid and peptides again positively regulates the stimulus of the eye cells, and therefore there is more secretion of the cholecystokinin hormone. So now let's talk about the third most asked question, that is secretin. So secretin is the source is from the S cells located in the mucosa of upper part of the small intestine. So its main functions are it increases the secretion of the pancreas juice rich in bicarbonate. Whereas when you saw in the cholecystokinin hormone, the cholecystokinin hormone increased the secretion of pancreatic juice which was rich in enzymes, but this secretes the pancreatic juice which is rich in bicarbonate. It also increases the bile secretion. It stimulates the action of the cholecystokinin. So both are mutually helpful, and it also decreases the gastric acid secretion and the motility, again opposing the function of the gastrin hormone, and it causes contraction of the pyloric sphincter, same as the cholecystokinin hormone. So what is the mechanism of action of this hormone? So when the secretin, it activates the adenylate cyclase present in the cell membrane. So this adenylate cyclase again increases the CAMP formation. CAMP is nothing but the cyclic adenylate monophosphate. So this again comes under the cellular signaling process. Now let's talk about the regulation of secretion. So for all these three hormones, you need to draw this table of regulation of secretion if asked in the board examination. So in this regulation of secretion of the secretin hormone, when there is contact of the intestinal mucosa with the acidic chyme and the peptides, there is stimulation of the S cells, as same as the cholecystokinin hormone. Then there is secretion of the secretin, then the stimulation of pancreatic secretion rich in water and bicarbonate. Then the H2 and HCO3 minus floods the duodenum, neutralizing the acid in the duodenum and decreasing the duodenal pH, which again negatively regulates the stimulation of S cell, and therefore secretin hormone is less released. So one of the fact of the secretin is that it was one of the first discovered hormone by the scientists. So these are about the main hormones of the gastrointestinal tract. So if you found this video helpful, please like, share and comment, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.